So if you've been playing or at least have been watching Fatal Fury, you should have an understanding of who the top 3 are, or even the top 4, since I have them right here on the screen on the player 1 side. These 4 characters are like just totally dominating the game, and they all have their own ways of dominating the game. What I feel makes the top 4 different from the rest of the cast is that they're all very good at dominating the entirety of the screen in one or more ways. In terms of Marco, not only does he have a fireball that he can control the speed of, but couple that with the fact that he has his forward feint that looks like he's about to throw the fireball and doesn't really make a sound effect until his arm goes completely forward. It's very tough visually, especially with the fact that you can see the fire here from the fireball. It's tough visually to tell when it is that he's going to throw a fireball. If you're actually going to throw a fireball thinking that he's going to throw one himself, he can catch yours with his 6-frame fireball super. And mind you, because it's a punch supers actually do more damage than they do kick supers.
Not quite.
It's not the same for every character, since Gato's Rising Fang super, the kick super, actually does more damage than his neck breaker. But because this is Marco's fireball super, which can be really good at sniping people throwing fireballs, and it does more damage, it's kind of wild for Marco to have this as a tool in his arsenal. Since, yes, he doesn't have a means to close the gap at this distance per se, but he does have what I like to call Bandit Revolver or Bandit Bringer. So the heavy version being his Bandit Bringer here, because even though he can break it, he can still close the gap this way, or he can try and catch you that way. -2 on hit, sure, but on block it's still -2, so it's not bad at all for him to try and close the gap in this way.
SPG.
Not only that, but he also has his EX Tatsu, or as I like to call it, EX Bandit Revolver, that everyone should be aware of. It's hella negative if you don't break it, but if you do, guess what? It's also -2. And it's great for Marco to just be able to see if the attack had made contact or not, and if it does make contact, he can get a little bit extra damage going for his air SPG, and it allows him to get some really fucked up mix-ups that can be very difficult to see. Now, while Marco is also a character that is able to do the basic, you know, heavy button forward feint or neutral feint into another heavy button to go into his combo routing, the thing that makes him part of the same club of the top 3 is that he has ways to lower his rev gauge when he does have rev, so that way he's able to save a lot of his rev meter while at the same time having the ability to tack on a bunch of damage.
SPG. Not quite. You think it's over?
With Hokuto, I'm sure that we've seen enough of him to honestly understand what his game plan generally is. You just find any hit whatsoever, even if it's a throw, and you just play the keep away game. And unfortunately for most of the cast, this is very effective because he has the fastest walk speed in the game. He also has the fastest run speed in the game. Coupled with the fact that he has a double jump, and he's able to air stall. He's able to throw his shurikens in the air to keep the distance, but also keep himself in the air longer than possible. Or if not that, he is also able to air teleport. Couple that with the fact that you have his EX teleport, where on hit it can be +6, and on block it goes up to being +5. And mind you that EX teleport doesn't even like knock the opponent back. It literally gives Hokuto a combo if he wants to. And this move has excellent tracking. Like, people in Japan have said the best thing that you can do against it, unless your reactions are godlike to try and punish it, is to just dash under him and try and get the punish that way. The tracking on this is insane, and with the speed that Hokuto drops down after doing it is also kind of insane and makes actually reacting to it feel impossible.
PG. SPG. SPG.
And again, once Hokuto has the life lead, it's just throwing shurikens, running away, making sure that the opponent doesn't find a way in, and just being a nuisance, more or less being a fly that's really hard to swat. Hokuto may be a character that you could argue doesn't do an insane amount of damage. Realistically, once he finds a way in and he feels comfortable with how much rev meter that he has, he's able to apply that much damage that like Marco or even Hotaru could also apply, with very simplistic combos and with supers that seem like they are truly what give Hokuto just an insane amount of damage output for such a character like this that seemingly is built to just play a very hit and run style.
Not quite.
And if that's not enough, he's also to keep his rev meter relatively low once he does go for a combo, simply by just going to his SPG. I know that Hokuto's go for this because they want the SPG right away to kind of act as their one-button DP, since Hokuto doesn't necessarily have good anti-air options besides his high dodge. However, if you go from an EX move into an SPG, you're actually saving yourself a lot of rev meter going for this, and the fact that Hokuto can go for his grounded rev move into his air rev move means that he's just able to save so much rev meter for himself. And like, if he's able to find the next hit, then that just also means that he's going to save a lot of rev meter while doing a crap ton of damage.
SPG. Not quite.
416 damage, accumulating up to 40% rev meter, and whatever mix-up that you apply here, you're practically going to be doing like 65%, and then with the super bringing it down, you're probably going to have like 50%, 45% rev meter left over, and like one more mix-up, the opponent is practically dead. And if you don't even want to do that, again, you can just play the zoning game. Now with Kind's fireball game, yes, you could just block the fireballs, you could jump over the fireballs, you could IB the fireballs, and yeah, like every time Kind more or less throws a fireball, he's bringing himself closer to the corner, and if you're able to close a gap between you and him, then you're essentially gonna get a corner combo sooner or later, and you're able to maximize the damage against him. Great! Now the thing that I am not really a fan of how the system mechanics work here for Fatal Fury is that if Kind does go for an air fireball and you do successfully just defend, it's still a good situation for him regardless because of how just defend works in the air. One just defend, well, understandably, this is supposed to help put you and the opponent back in a neutral situation. The distance created here just makes Kind's life so much easier now. Yes, he still is putting himself closer to the corner, but he just has to make one call of going for an air fireball, and if you do jump and you do successfully just defend, you've just reset yourself to trying to chase Kind back at square frickin' one, and Kind can continue playing the game that he wants to play, setting orbs, closing the distance with his lariat break, you know, trying to find you pressing buttons and then trying to whip punish with his buttons. I don't agree with how just defends work in the air, and while I can understand that it could be something where like, well, hey, if you just defend something in the air and you just stay in place and you do like a falling button, that can lead to a lot of damage. This is Posted Panda. I also wanted to include here that I completely forgot about, and it's the fact that I didn't even talk about EX Fireball. EX Fireball covers both options for Kind when you go for it, of course, obviously if you've been playing Fatal Fury. And this is like a great great use of meter for Kaim because, hey, you're still backdashing and you're covering both sides, and really all that any character could do, unless you're playing like Hokuto or Hotaru, is to just take it, you know, try and IB, go for an air IB if you accidentally jump, and if you end up getting hit, like if you end up getting hit by the ground version, this is honestly whatever. This is probably like the safer bet to try and challenge. So like if you do get hit by EX Fireball grounded, it's whatever. You're getting 44 damage. In the situation of if you're trying to jump over his air Fireball, then that's much worse. Because now you have to deal with that, and sure, that setup may not be, you know, the best, but it's more so the fact of like, oh, now he can set up orb because air fireball just gives him a hard knockdown. Whereas here, if you just defend it, then he can choose to close the distance if he sees that like you've jumped in the air, like maybe try and go for his heavy lariat break just to get a hard knockdown that way, or not hard knockdown, but just get something that way. He can go for EX lariat still and just end the combo with EX DP.
Fumble before my ambition. You will submit. Not quite.
Not only that, just how Kain is created as a character, you would think with the fact of him having orbs, that the orbs themselves would help with his damage output. Like, he would generally be a character that doesn't do a lot of damage because of the fact that he has orbs and that he's trying to do a successful setup, so then that way he can accumulate the damage that he's looking for to be in the same position as the top three. No.
SPG. Fumble before my ambition. You will submit. Not quite.
Like, okay, he has orb super. I understand. How is he doing this much damage? As someone that's supposed to be like a zoner or a keep away character, how the hell is he doing this much damage from essentially a target combo? Essentially a combo that starts from a 2B, mind you. Now I know that some people would say, well, a character like Terry is able to get that much damage as well, right? He's also able to do double super. True. However, for him to be able to reach 708, you actually need a wild punish counter in order to even hit like literally 1 point of damage over the combo damage that Kain just got.
Are you okay? Not quite.
Now, Hotaru is actually a character that I purposely put last because I had done a lot of labbing and comparisons between the two characters here, and there's just a lot of questions that I have just for Hotaru in general. It has nothing to do even with the fact that, like, yeah, she came out released with a 4-frame DP. I'm happy as hell that they reverted that and made it a 5-frame DP just like everyone else and made Hotaru just a little bit more human. But everything else about her, like, she just has everything that other characters have, but literally just better. If we look at the fact that she has heavy button feint into heavy target combo, like, alright, Terry has the same thing. That does 183. What's the problem? Main thing is that Terry has to start with a target combo just to get a far C. But not only that, if we look at the target combo damage examples here. 55, 20. And that's because of SPG. So together we have 75. We look at Hotaru. 71. 71 for her close C, where Terry has to do 55. Oh, and then 41, leading up to 112.
SPG.
So if we look at Terry's basic BNB, keep it simple, going for the burn knuckle. We're doing 376. Okay, fine. Ah,
Not done yet.
now look at that.
SPG.
Hotaru is doing 395. Very interesting. Not only is the damage disparity something that I have big questions about, and this is mainly just because like I hear some players say, whether they're new or not, they're always saying how Terry hits like a truck, and it's like, I just can't take you seriously, because if Terry doing 376 from his combo is hitting like a truck, I don't even want to know how you would look at someone like Hotaru that's doing almost literally 400 damage from a standing basic bread and butter combo here. Now you could say, oh, well, Hotaru is a character with short normals. It's like, she needs that damage for when she gets in. Alright, sure. Why is her Hakusho practically like a sonic boom?
Close one.
She's also a character that has access to a +4 heavy into forward feint on block. And what makes this really comical is that, sure, it's not close to EX command grab range. You just gotta step forward a little bit, and you are instantly in range. Now hold on, Billy is also a character that has a close D forward feint that's also +4 on block. So how is this any different from Hokuto having a +4 forward feint heavy? The difference is that Billy can't just step forward to get his throw. He has to like dash in a little bit. And like, oh wow, he gets 132. Meanwhile, Hokuto doing an EX command grab can like literally get 114 more damage than what Billy can get from a throw with SPG. And this is made even more insulting when you have a character like Rock, where his EX command grab, yes, he can also EX cancel and get follow-ups after it, but his is very situational, since he has to see where he is in the screen in order to get his extensions and conversions, and that can greatly vary the amount of damage or even how much rev meter that he's spending compared to Hotaru.
Damn you. SPG.
19 damage difference, yet Hotaru is able to consistently put you in the corner if she spends her level 1. Hoseta Panda here again. Another thing that I forgot to mention for Hotaru, that's like another big benefit, is actually the SPG damage. So if we actually look at the normal SPG damage for everyone, which is why I have Terry and Hotaru here, generally an SPG on hit should do like 132. Some characters do a little bit less, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So 132, alright, not problematic. We look at Hotaru, also 132.
Close one.
So what could the problem be? The problem lies when you get the counter hit, or when like you react to another rev blow from your opponent. So we saw from
SPG.
Hotaru, she does 132, but if we get the counter hit, she does 20% more damage from the SPG counter hitting, and it allows her to get a follow-up combo, of course. But like having something as like a potential combo starter doing 158 can lead to insane amounts of damage for her. And because they're an SPG, you obviously can get a little bit more damage. For someone like Terry, if we pay attention again to how much damage that he does for his SPG.
Watch me.
So it goes 55, 22, and then 55. You know how much this does when you get counter hit? 20% of 55? 66.
Can't lose.
Getting a normal SPG hit literally gives you twice the amount of damage that you would getting a counter hit SPG. I'm sure, you know, if you get the counter hit, the benefit should be that you're able to get a combo and like it helps net a lot of damage. Well, let's remember that Hotaru got 631 for her going into her hidden gear.
I can do this all day.
Watch me, brother.
For a character that's supposed to hit like a truck, that's kind of laughable damage compared to Hotaru.
Are you okay?
Watch me.
Last thing that I'll mention is just how easily accessible it is for top 3 to be able to get plus frames. Marco is not someone that can get this per se. He's able to get it with his faint pressure, of course, but him going for EX Tatsu, as we saw before, leads him to -2, so it's not the easiest time for him to find plus frames, more so than it is easier for him to, you know, mix the opponent up and scare them and just like rack up crazy amounts of damage. For someone like Kine, you could, you know, do like a fuck it neutral EX Lariat and then just go into EX DP and be +2, which this is already questionable because, okay, this is -3. This is specifically -3 because of the fact that it's a flash kick. If it was -2 like other characters, like Hotaru, for example, you know, that would seem a little odd. You already have the benefit of being able to charge down, wait for the opponent to come at you, and then get a DP break, especially for the fact of how fucking far this attack hits. But if we look at Hotaru, alright, DP break is -2. EX DP break is -2. So why is Kine able to get a +2 flash kick here? Just like allow him to dash up and try and frame trap with a close C. He can down feint this and be +2 there. And just like constantly put you into a pressure situation. And that doesn't even account for the fact where, again, I feel like his game plan should focus more on him trying to set up orbs or trying to find ways to set up orbs, so then that way he can accumulate damage or even find his plus frames there.
At least make it fun.
Again, I don't know Kine all too well. That might not be the best setup, but the fact that because you know that orb is right there, and you don't want to really press on orb or, you know, take a big bet if the Kine is trying to bait you. If you hold the orb, Kine can dash in and be up to +10 times. There it is. And if you do nothing about it, or if Kine does nothing about it, he's +24 after the orb explodes. Hotaru is not out of this discussion because she's able to get plus frames thanks to her EX Palm Break. +3 on block from that. Mind you, she's still able to cancel into her other EX moves. She can be +1 there. She can be +3 there. Crazy enough, she could cancel her EX Palm early enough if she wants to try and frame trap or to bait HDs or JD attempts. What makes top 3 plus Marco feel so dominating to me, and why I really just want to see an actual significant change for City of the Wolves, as I'm sure a lot of other people that play the game also want to see. I want these characters to have like pros and cons about their kits, not just all pros. And I want them to not have so much control of the entirety of the screen. It just doesn't seem like that there is a bad position for top 3. You have Kaim being able to backdash, which he doesn't mind at all because he's still able to keep the opponent out. Being at this range allows him to put up orbs, and he can still activate them whenever he wants to. So he can control the screen very well from there. And if he chooses to go in, then he can still apply any form of plus frames. He can still, you know, keep his distance this way. He can still keep his distance this way, which, you know, mind you, target combo on block, -3. Why not? For someone like Hotaru, like, okay, sure, short subby buttons, you got it. Meanwhile, she has the second fastest walk speed in the game, only behind Hokuto Maru. And if you throw a fireball at this range, she can just reflect it back. Doesn't matter. And she can still follow behind her fireball if she wants to. She also has an air throw. She has great air-to-air buttons. She has her jump C, which if this hits someone as she's falling down, she can still convert from it. She has her air dive kick, which she can use, which I haven't seen a lot of people go for, which I understand that it doesn't give you, like, you know, a launcher counter hit. But still, the fact that she has her dive kick, yes, it's negative. You can still, like, space this out pretty well to either be neutral or plus on block. Right? But not only that, if you air JD something, you can probably challenge.
SPG.
And as we talked about before, if Hotaru didn't have a +4 on block heavy feint, then her having her EX command grab, which comes out in 7 frames, that would allow her to combo into EX palm. Probably wouldn't feel so scary with her being so close to you, because you only have like a 3-frame gap to try and fight, unless, you know, you JD cancel. But then you're, depending on what Hotaru goes for, you could be playing like Russian roulette, more or less, of like what could they go for. They might be trying to bait your JD and then just run up and do this. They might be trying to catch you and then just do empty jump throw. There's a lot of options that Hotaru can go for just from the fact of her having a command grab that you unfortunately have to respect, especially with the fact of how fast that this comes out. Now, obviously, the main thing with the top 3, including Marco, is just how dominant their fireball games are. Hotaru just having a super slow fireball that she can walk behind with a super fast fireball that you could argue could be hard to react for some players. Not every player, of course, but some. You have Hokuto, where you really don't want to deal with the shurikens. You don't want to block the shurikens. It's easy JD fodder if you're looking to, you know, get some health back or reduce your rev meter. But the problem is that once you start blocking it, you more or less are put into the mercy of whatever Hokuto wants to go for. So if he goes for like EX teleport, for example, your reactions, again, because of the speed of it, you have to like be a god in order to reactionary punish it. If not that, be a god in your JD and, you know, get something after it to try and get a punish. It's just really good for someone like Hokuto. You have someone like Kain that's able to obviously just increase the distance between him and the opponent. You never know when it's safe for you to, you know, jump over the fireball, and then if you do, then again, if you JD it, you're just putting yourself back to square one. And then for someone like Marco, you have his forward fireball feint, which again is a visual mix-up. You're not sure whether or not he's going to actually throw the fireball And then if you try and challenge yourself, he's got a 6 frame level 1 super to do a crap ton of damage on you. So that is where the Fatal Fury meta is, and I need this to stop, please. I want to see character variety in tournaments now.